Hey guys, Rich here. It's fucking Sunday. Sunday. I went fishing a little bit this morning on the lake because I can't go in the river because the fucking motor's a piece of shit. So I got back from fishing today, and yeah, I took this motor apart a couple days ago. Yesterday, I took it apart yesterday, not a couple days ago. It's a piece of shit. And this motherfucker knew it was a piece of shit. Because there is no way you get this much engine damage in a 100-yard fucking dash down the river. No fucking way. See if I can show you guys. Alright, you're looking at the bottom of the motor now. This is the exhaust port on this 2-stroke. Where's the pull cord? Of course it's in the back. Let me get the tripod. Okay guys, I got you on the tripod zoomed in here. Now, there's the piston, okay? Going up and down the cylinder. Look at all the scoring on the bottom of this piston. This guy's a fucking douchebag. And if you look there, look. Piston ring. There isn't even a fucking piston ring or a channel for it to sit in. Nothing. There's nothing right there. It's just eaten up. And you know, there's no way that happened in the 15 minutes that I had this motor running. That thing had to have fucking seized up before I got to it. Had to have. That's bullshit. But you know what? Nothing I can do about it. So that's scrap metals. All I can get for that is the only parts that I can get for that motor. The only parts that I can get for that motor are the piston rings. I can get a piston for it, but I cannot get a cylinder for it. So it's worthless, because that cylinder I know is beyond just honing and throwing a new piston and ring in it. That cylinder would have to get bored, it'd have to get machined. And since it's so old, you'll be lucky enough to find stock rings and a stock piston, let alone oversized or undersized. I forget. I know one of them's backwards. I know when you grind a crank you need undersized bearings instead of oversized bearings or something. But anyway, so I got a wild idea from YouTube actually. Remember, if you guys look back to my very first video I ever did, I was working on a power washer that I got for Craigslist for $40. And needed work on the pump, and I had somebody try to weld the pump for me, and they did a really shitty job, so the pump's worthless. But the engine's really good. It's like brand new. It was only used a couple times. The guy just used the power washer to wash his house off once in a while and left it sit outside in his garage in freezing temperatures, and it froze and cracked the pump. So what I had done was, or what I'm going to do is, power washer engine, boat motor leg. I've seen it done on YouTube a couple of times. What I have to do is I have to fabricate a plate to bolt the engine to where this engine bolted to, and I'm going to drill a hole in the shaft on the power washers like this. I'm going to drill a hole in the center of the shaft so it fits over top. So it fits over top of this shaft here. And then I'm going to drill a hole in the side and put a set screw in it. And that's all I need. That is all I need. So that should work. That's my plans. We will see how it unravels. I just got that thing fired back up. It runs real good. So what I gotta do now is fabricate my mounting plate and get her bolted on there. I'll try to bring you guys along as I progress through this. Okay guys, so this is what I got. I got my drill, and I got a whole shitload of drill bits here. And what I did was that shaft already was threaded for a bolt to go up through to hold the pump on or whatever. Had threads in it. So I just started with a small drill bit and I worked my way all the way up to 7/16. 7/16 fits over that shaft on this boat motor very tightly. First thing I did was I drained all the fluids out of the motor, the gas and the oil, because I had to flip it upside down to drill the hole in the shaft. And then I drilled her out. And now what I got here is I got this shaft to fit right over top of that other shaft. Just like that. Now what I need to do, it'll actually sit like this. Now what I need to do is I need to figure out a way to make a plate or some kind of bracket in there to mount the motor to the leg of the boat motor. So that's what I got so far, and I'll show you when I figure out what I'm going to do for the motor. Okay guys, so what I've done is I found a piece of scrap 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/8 inch angle iron in my scrap metal pile. I didn't even know I had this. And I notched out a piece like this so it'll fit in there, and I can weld this together and make a box, however, and that'll sit right on top of the motor. I'm going to drill my holes to bolt this to where the old engine bolted to, over here where the old engine bolted to, these 4 holes. And then I'm going to take where the power washer used to mount to, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to weld that to this frame. And then I should have a mounting area for the motor to sit on. It should work good, I hope. But let me weld this box together. I'm just going to weld the inside of it. That way the outside is still flush. I might weld the outside corners, but as far as the bottom goes, I'm not going to weld it because I'm not trying to grind it or nothing. If I weld the inside, it's going to be plenty strong enough. It'll have welds all in here. So, yeah. Let me get to welding, and I'll turn you guys back on when I get her mocked up. Okay guys, so check this out. I got my frame bolted on there. I put 2 regular bolts in the back with lock nuts and washers. And what I did here was I took the bottom half that was normally here with the handle on it for the motor, and I was able to bolt it underneath of my frame here so I can actually have my handle still to steer the motor. Now granted, I can't use this throttle because my throttle is going to go this way and this one goes side to side, but I'm still going to have a handle. So all I'm going to have to do is hook up a regular throttle off of a lawnmower. I got one on that mower right over there that I could use. But she's looking good, looking real good. I still be able to fold up, I'll still have my handle and everything. So, fucking right, huh? And then I'm still even going to have my switch to engage and disengage the propeller down there. So I'll have neutral and go. So I can start it without it being on and start it when it's going there. It should work pretty damn sweet. But what I got to do now is I have to draw square lines and figure out how I'm cutting this out so I can weld that to that and then bolt my motor to it. So yeah, that'd be great. Okay guys, I'm going to show you what I got so far before I get carried away. I made that square metal piece and I bolted that to the frame. I told you I was able to use the handle and shit, yeah. And then I cut out where the motor mounted originally to the power washer. And I put that on the bottom of the engine and put the bolts through so they were lined up. And I welded the head of the bolts to the sheet metal, so now they're studs sticking up through. Because where they needed to go was where my frame was, so there's no way to get a wrench under it. Then what I did was I drilled a hole through the shaft on the engine, and I drilled a hole through the shaft on the boat motor. And I'm going to use a nut and a bolt to hold them together. And then I set this piece of metal up there with the motor to make sure everything was centered, and I tack welded it. And then I took the motor off and I welded it to what that was there. I had to notch out my frame here so I could access the nut that holds the shaft together. I had to notch out the frame a little bit up front here, and on the side here for clearance, because the underside of the motor, as you can see, this piece right here, this 1/2 inch piece that sticks out, needed some clearance. So I got that all together, and she's real solid, so I don't think she's gonna fall apart. And I'm ready to set the motor on there now. The other thing I had to do was right here. Can you see where that's broken? Where's the piece? Right here. I don't know what this piece is, but this piece was right here, and I used a chisel and a hammer and I snapped it off because there wasn't enough clearance in there for my bolt that goes through the shafts to spin. It was hitting it. So should be good now. We'll see. I'll turn you on when I get that motor mounted on there. Okay guys, I got her on there. Check this out. I still gotta rig up a throttle cable and a kill switch. Right now I just stopped it by putting my hand over the carb. But she works, so sweet. Now I'm gonna rig up a throttle cable and get that going, and maybe I'll get a river video in. Later. It's working! It's working! Yeah. Here you go, flipper into neutral. We'll pull her. Got the anchor, buddy? Oh, tell me you're caught on the bottom. Good? Let her in drive, give her some gas, and away we go! Here's cruise control, guys.